What is going on, you guys? Welcome to the video. Today we're going over 5 free tools, websites that I use as part of my daily research practice or regimen. And obviously this video hopefully it's audible, hopefully it's edible, like you can consume it. Honestly, I'm just trying to get this filmed up before the football games start in about 20 minutes. So let's go over these one by one. These are all free to use. They do have premium platforms, just FYI, if you do want to get more features. But a lot of the stuff you can do with the free platform. And I'll list for each thing what I like about each one. And if you guys use them as well, feel free to leave some comments down below. But I think you guys will really enjoy this video. So drop a thumbs up if you do. But starting off with website number one, this is a website called Wallmine, wallmine.com. What this is actually, what I find I use this platform the most for is when I look up a specific stock. Let's assume I'm looking at, let's go for the company, McDonald's, like whatever. We could pick any company we want. We're going to type in the ticker up at the top and you get a whole wall of data. And often you could argue this is, more than you may need. It's a little bit overwhelming. And a lot of times I don't even look at this particular area right here. But of course you got like a quote that you can toggle between different time frames. Personally, for me, what I find is really valuable about this site is that right up front you have a bunch of news compiled up. So what I love is that it actually sorts it by day, in the sense that you can go, on December 30th, this was released and the stock was up 1.8%. Now, I don't like getting too nitty gritty as to why stocks are moving like this, but it does sometimes add up. Like, they released their earnings on this day and stock was down 5%. You can kind of piece things together. And obviously, if you click onto each one of these articles, it will link you to the respective site. To the right, you have all of your actual filings, the official stuff, if you want to go look into the 10Ks, etc., etc. But what is cool about this too is you actually have details like insider trading. So insider trading gives you ideas of, whether executives are buying or selling shares, what they're buying at. You have a sale here from this lady. Again, more or less just some additional info. But you may have seen, actually, if you scroll down, they have this kind of interesting one. Hopefully my screen here is not blocking this. But you have like McDonald's versus Robinhood holders interest. Whenever you see this little green line kicking up, that's a bad sign. You don't like seeing Robinhood holders jumping into your positions. Obviously, you got a buy or analyst recommendation today sitting at a buy. You have comparable companies, and you may have seen these in my videos here. So often when I'm doing my videos, I look at this little dividends tab because this is a great screenshot of dividend yield, for example, dividend growth period, how fast they're growing their dividend. You even have the ex-dividend dates. Typically, it's not showing up here. And then you have a little chart of their dividend history. And this dates back for often as long as the company's paying. So really, really valuable, a lot of data. Again, sometimes more than you actually want. If you continue to scroll down, you'll even see more details on the balance sheet, for example, income statement. You can toggle between annual or, I don't know why this is, there you go. You can toggle between quarterly and annual, and you can see, for example, how they're growing their cash piles. You can see the change over the previous periods. Pretty much balance sheet type of things over here. Also, the final thing that I like about this is the institutional transactions. So some people ask me, oh, well, how do you know when institutions are buying or selling stock, right? Well, here's a really, really fascinating section right here called recent insider transactions. We saw the Bank of New York Mellon Corp, which is obviously a big institution. They sold, they changed their shares by about 9%, sold about 9% of their stake. These guys bumped up their stake by 15%, etc., etc. And again, more or less to just give you some good ideas. But this has, stocks for U.S. stocks, Canadian stocks. You can see, like, let's assume we type Canadian National Railway. You can see there's one on the TSX and then there's one on the New York Stock Exchange. So obviously click the one that is that makes sense for what you're looking for. Website number 2 is Seeking Alpha. And this is another one that, again, this is a paid one. With a free membership, you can look at certain articles, but obviously the paid membership is worth looking into if you like hearing different opinions, because the idea behind Seeking Alpha is that you're actually getting analysts, not so much analysts, but people can write in voicing their opinions about specific stocks. So rather than this one with Wallmine being just facts, here's the stats, here's the numbers, Seeking Alpha is more articles. They're more opinionated pieces. And I mean, a lot of people can post on Seeking Alpha, so you got to be careful who you listen to, and you can do a bit of research into who's posting. But let's take a look at the company. Let's take a look at the company Tesla. That'll obviously have a lot of interest at the moment, but you get a little quote. I'll touch on this first of all. Well, maybe we'll look at a better example. But if you scroll down to this little analysis tab, you see all of the different posts. This one was posted yesterday at 8:30 a.m. This one was posted December 29th, December 27th, and you can see they have either a bearish stance or a bullish stance. And let's assume we were to just click into this one. I'm just winging it with you guys, but this is his little article. His little what do you want to call it? It's a piece on Tesla. I see downgrades ahead. Tesla needs to be valued as automaker first and foremost, and an installed base. You guys get the point. Basically, a summary about his stance on Tesla. Obviously, you can read through the article, get some points, and then there's a bunch of room for comments below, so people will chime in and give their opinions. I think this is very important when you are getting bull cases and bear cases. When you're researching a new stock, you should always take in both sides. And I know people tend to like to just look at the positives if they like a stock or the negatives if they dislike a stock. But what Seeking Alpha does is it gives you perspective on both sides. So definite one to check out. Again, because I have a platform, you'll see, like, for example, this one shows that it's locked. So it's locked because you need to have a premium membership, although you can often read a lot or you can do free trials, but that's good. And then lastly, you may have seen me use this dividend tab in my videos as well. Let's pick a company such as Procter & Gamble, who does pay a dividend. You toggle over to this dividend tab and you get a lot of nice metrics in terms of their scoreboard. So you get the current forward dividend yield, you get the annual payout, you have their payout ratio, along with their growth rate, and then the years of growth. So I've actually included this little scorecard many times in my videos. And then obviously you can even go to things like dividend growth, and you can see what they're growing at over the different years, dividend history, more or less just some backtracking data, dividend safety, etc., etc. You can kind of tool around in this section. But the second option is Seeking Alpha. The third one, which we will briefly knock off, is Yahoo Finance. This one is a classic. It's it's a hub. You can't really go wrong with it because very basically, I mean, they are free to use. You can make a little watch list, etc., etc. I'm not even signed in at this point, but you can search up any stock. In fact, you see here I was looking up Matrix stock, Loop Insights stock, just for fun though, not you know what I'm saying. But again, with these stocks, you get a little bit of a news. Any of the news releases down here, or you get an ad. This looks to be an ad as well, which sucks. You get ads, but if you are kind of looking for news regarding a certain company, rather than going through Google, it's kind of got a little compiled place up here. You got some very important metrics kind of at the forefront on the dashboard, such as the PE ratio, such as their earnings per share, or when they are set to release earnings. You got dividend info down below. And again, obviously this company doesn't have too much on that, but you can always go to financials, which is important. And you get an idea here of the income statement and the balance sheet. This becomes so important as you come to look into companies a little bit deeper and actually take a look at some of the numbers and the metrics. You need to kind of find the place that you like best, that displays it best, so you can start understanding, oh, here's 2017, here's 2018, here's 2019. This is how I can approach this, and that's how I can start reading it. And you may say you like this view better. You can obviously change it between quarterly and annually, by the way. Or you may go back here and say, well, I kind of like the bubbly view, right? This is, it's a more bubbly, but this is it's the same info. They're all drawing from the same places at the end of the day. But this is Yahoo Finance. It's really hard to go wrong with it. Actually, on my phone, you'll note as it unlocks, I use my watch list just on Yahoo Finance. So that's I use the app. It's what I found out myself using as of recently, and it's getting the job done. And again, it's completely free to use. Number 4 is the website Stock Charts. Now, this is a great website that is free to use if you're looking into the individual charts itself. And don't get me wrong, you guys know me. I'm no trader. I'm not getting too deep into the metrics. But of course, when it comes to purchasing stocks, I'll often use certain metrics to help justify my buys and sells. So take a good example of, let's pick a stock like, what's a good stock to pick? Let's pick a stock like Apple and see what they have in store. So I'm going to type in the ticker Apple, or I'm going to type in Apple in and of itself. And this is kind of a pre-populated chart up. One of the tools that I personally really like to rely on is looking at something like the relative strength index, the RSI, when I'm deciding when to buy and sell. This is a very clear way of me looking at it and kind of compiling it up and saying, oh my God, RSI is up at 70. Maybe this stock is in a little bit of overbought territory. Or that said, stock has dropped off significantly and now it's trading at RSI of 30. Well, maybe that may justify me actually buying in or getting into more positions. You obviously got your MACDs down below and you can change all this. So for example, look at the overlays or the indicators section down here. Again, it's a little bit confusing at first, but once you get the hang of it, oh my God, it's so simple to use because you can go to, let's say, indicators and you can pick a variety of indicators that you're looking for. You want your Bollinger Bands. Again, this is if you look at these types of things, pop them in. You can even look at something like dividends. Click dividends right here. You're gonna hit update on this chart. This part that did say RSI, well now it's the dividends. So it shows you, I guess. Again, I'm not following this super closely, but it looks like Apple paid a dividend up at 80 cents. It looks like in August, and as of the new year, or as of the fourth quarter, it dropped down to 20 cents. You get what I'm saying here. I would never personally click dividends on that chart. I'm just kind of explaining to you how that works, and really, you can go as far as picking a number of different things. I'll actually log in. You do have some good flexibility to the way you view it. So candle glance is a good way to look at it, and this kind of compiles up all of your stocks in a glance form. So this can be a great idea. For example, if I'm thinking, oh my God, well, on my watch list, which stock do I want to buy at the moment? Which one may be showing some value? Well, let's take a look at this. I'm going to add an indicator, for example, the RSI, and I'm going to sort by descending. Or maybe I should do ascending, actually, I should say. So I'm going to sort by ascending. Well, if you take a look at this, it went away. 1 second. So sort RSI by ascending. Well, now you take a look, and then we have, this is just a random watch list that I'm looking at, but it gives you some ideas that stocks like Fitbit are definitely dropping into oversold territory. iQIYI, FedEx, Overstock, Baba, etc., and it gives you like a glance view, which I find to be very, very valuable. So that's just one example of how you use it. Very in-depth platform, and again, this is the insight. This is a paid version, but you can use a lot of it for free. On to our fifth and final stock, because I got to wrap this up soon. I got 15 minutes till football kicks off. Definitely enough time. The last one is Barchart. Barchart.com. And Barchart.com is one that I use. Actually, if you used to watch our weekly reviews, if you've been with the channel for like 2 years, you'll know we use this in our weekly reviews, but that's a long time ago. What I find this is actually quite valuable for is if you actually go, for example, under stocks. Excuse me. And again, note that I'm not even logged in here. So this is just like anybody can use this. You can really look at the different sectors. I really like the way you can look at the sectors. So for example, if you go to the stock market sectors, it will bring you up how the different industries are performing, or the different sectors, I should say. For example, today, and I'm filming this on the weekend, so this would have been as of market close on Friday. But S&P 500 was up 1.5%. Energy was down 1.5%. If we actually toggle this to, let's say, a 6-month number or a 3-month number, I accidentally clicked. Well, this gives us ideas of how the different markets performed, right? And again, if you're seeing what I'm seeing here, you can start using these tools as part of your practice to get ideas as to, again, it's more or less just being able to monitor what's going on in the market. This is a great way of doing that. What's actually cool, for example, is if you said, oh my God, well, I want some, healthcare stocks, right? But I don't really know any. Well, let's click on into the healthcare sector. And what this shows us, if we scroll down, is some of the healthcare components in terms of what companies fall into this category that fall into the S&P 500 index. And again, we're looking at the S&P here, but you could actually look at all the different indexes. You see the Dow. We don't have the TSX on here because this is a US one, unfortunately. But that said, you can get some great ideas by looking at all the different components of healthcare. If you wanted to go for another industry, well, go ahead. You can do that. It gives you some details on the stock, and again, it's just a very, very powerful tool, I would say. You got your heat maps, which I know everyone loves, and personally for me, like, I love looking at heat maps. There are nicer ones out there than this. These basically just show how the different areas are performing. But yeah, guys, these would be a list of 5 tools that I find myself using just as I go through my research process. I really think that this should be a valuable video for you. And all I ask in return is if you're going to use one of these, if you're going to learn something new, give this video a thumbs up, because at the end of the day, there's so many free tools out there and websites that you can use, but it's about finding what works well with your research practice, right? What goes well with your flow. And for me, I kind of get into a really similar routine where if, for example, I'm looking up a stock, I'll pop it into all of these. I'll pop it into Wallmine, I'll pop it into Yahoo Finance, I'll pop it into Seeking Alpha, and I'll just spend a good part of the day or a couple hours, whatever I'm doing, just constantly absorbing kind of the different information about the stock and taking some notes about this or that. And then obviously it goes without saying, but this isn't really an important one to add here, is you can always go to a company's investor relations website. I don't really consider that like a tool for this video because every company has that. But just very briefly, if we have any beginners that have still stuck around, let's assume you're looking up a company like New Flyer. You can go to New Flyer Industries investor relations. You just type investor relations at the end of the page. And every publicly traded company has to have their investor relations page. And this is where, you're going to have your actual reports, like the actual filings, for example. You can look at or it would be under performance and reports, but every company is slightly different. But here we have all of the filings for 2020. If you want to go back to 2019, well, there you go. You got all your quarterly filings, all your annual forums. There's a variety of information that you will come across on a investor relations page. But guys, that's it for the video. Honestly, I thought it'd be a great one to kickstart the year. We got so many new investors that are taking this DIY approach, and these will, I guarantee, help you out. Write these down, jot these down, because they'll be phenomenal choices for you. If you guys enjoyed, give this one a thumbs up and leave your thoughts down below. Do you use any of these platforms? Is there any that I didn't mention that would be good for the viewers out there? Because leave that down below. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And if you are a beginner to the stock market and you want to learn how to, let's assume none of this stuff made sense to you and you're very, very new. Click the first link down below to learn about our Investing Academy. We have a training program that is built for Canadians, and we'll take you we'll take you from scratch. If you don't even know what a stock and bond and ETF is, if you're just starting in the new year, there's a link down below. You will very much enjoy it. But yeah, this was my first video trying with this little recording thing, so hopefully it works out. Hopefully the audio is not too bad. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.